Now, was there, at the conclusion of the cock, was there a dramatic exit between you and Alan, who was the runner of the cock? Because that was one of, like, sort of a nightlife mystery for those of us not in the know. Because Mario, you're 7 nights a week, you've got suitcases of cash under your bed because people are paying it at the door. You're taking trips to Venice with Irene. You're doing it all. I mean, I can only imagine that could get sticky in a partnership.
Well, when I started this with him, this partnership, he was meant to be a silent partner at the time. And so people didn't know who Alan was. He was like the guy that was gonna keep the bottles full and the lights on, which he didn't. but that's part of the charm of it, the place that it was constantly falling apart, right? But I knew that the shelf life had to do with the fact that I knew that he was, I'm just gonna say it, he was a shady guy. And I knew that I wasn't gonna be able to depend on him in the long run. But we had a partnership agreement, so, and considering what I put into the creation, I mean, I created that place. Everybody that worked with me for the entire time I was there was the same staff until I left. Then it changed quite a bit, and it's been through a lot of different sort of changes. But so I guess that's part of it. He started to show his colors with me, and I thought to myself, well, I could fight him on this, you know, take it to court, which would be very difficult with someone like him who's very adept to the courts, because we had been raided many, many, many times. I've paid many, many checks to the city, and he was really good at drawing out these violations. But at the time, you know, these violations were bullshit. I mean, it was Giuliani's, he was using these antiquated, you know, laws that were, you know, created in like the 20s or the 40s. One particular law was the cabaret license law, which was essentially 5 or more people, or was 3 or more people moving in a rhythmic manner is considered dancing, and you need a cabaret license. So it's ridiculous, you know.
Yes, I mean, it was a time when we were throwing parties in New York and the cabaret laws came on. They were like, Johnny, there's no go-go dancers tonight. They cannot dance. And we had like go-go dancers giving themselves sponge baths or doing whatever it was.
Which I still do now. I think it's kind of a more interesting take on the go-go.
Yes.
At Full Frontal Disco, I would create vignettes, so I have them like performing rather than dancing. But yeah, anyway, so they would come in and raid us, and everybody be out on the street, and then we get a ticket for like having like an open flame license for having a candle. Like, oh, really? That's the problem here?
They were really coming after all the gay bars at that time for any reason.
And we were we were wild.
Yes, it was.
I would hate to have been a neighbor of the cop. But I figured, listen, you're in the East Village, like move. If you can't handle it, get the hell out of New York, because, you know.
Exactly,
it's
Mario.
New York City.
Now, make sure you're following Mario Diaz Loves You on Instagram and following at Hey Qween TV on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Erica, I'm about to come to you and ask you for another made-up website. Go!
BigDarkBackroom.com.
Oh, yes, she's getting it.
I'm stealing it.
All right, Mario, honey, it's time to get into it.
Okay.
Get into it.
Get into it.
You came to Hollywood and you decided, well, I've already changed the New York nightlife scene, sweetie. I'm gonna change Hollywood nightlife as well.
Yes.
What's your party philosophy, Mario?
Well, I think it's funny because the parties that I do here in LA, people come up to me often like, oh, wow, man, this is so New York, it really is. And I was like, yeah, that's because that's what I did in New York. So I'm kind of using the same formula, which is, it's not brain surgery. And actually a lot of the parties essentially look this way now. Turn the lights down, turn the music up, play good music, and it's really about the people. The people are always the story when it comes to a party. If you don't have good people, then it's not. And also I try and include some sort of interactive thing. That's kind of what my little shtick is, the style, the sense of humor, and giving, because the audience is the show, right? I mean, in my opinion, if you're throwing a party, the people that are there are the performers. That's the performance. It's what's going on out there. So I try and give them something to do. Like at Big Fat Dick, we have our photo contests, and I always try and include some sort of interactive aspect to it.
You have a very strong stylistic aesthetic, Mario, And one of my favorite things about you is how intensely you style the Go-Go Boys.
Yeah.
If they're there, they need to get there early because the Mario wardrobe truck is outside.
It's
And
true.
he is going to, not these. Okay, this chain. I mean, tell me
Right.
about that process.
Well, I have been dressing my dancers from head to toe since I started doing this.
Yes.
And I just figure if I didn't, they would look like all the other dancers in town, right? So, and I give it my own, like when I look at a guy or a girl or, you know, a non-binary, whoever it is I've cast for the night, I just, I fantasize what I would want them to be. How are they in my fantasies? So, you know, some boys will be like the skater boy, and then, you know, you just kind of play with their personalities. And, but, you know, at the end of the day, I love styling, and I love that. I've always had a passion for fashion, so it's fun. It's just fun. And I don't think a lot of people know that I dress the dancer. They just think, wow, Mario Book's the coolest.
Right, they're so cool. The sense of style of these dancers. It's all Mario, sweetie. I mean, the Cock in New York, Hot Dog, Bonkers, Full Frontal Disco, Brutus. BFD is the longest running weekly queer party in the country,
Yes,
Mario.
yes. And
wow.
now I'm proud of that. And now that, I remember when I think we hit 16, Mark, and Heclina was doing Tranny Shack, and she had stopped it, and she was so angry with me
Right.
that I stole her title as the longest running weekly. But you know, 18 years, every Thursday night, have never missed a Thursday night until this moment in time.
Right.
So that was really hard to wrap my head around having to stop. I mean, we did every Thanksgiving, we were always there for you. But I guess that just means I get to hold on to my title for the rest of my life.
That's right. And you got a well-deserved nap because I'm sure a Thursday came and you were like, I don't have to be anywhere.
It is amazing. I've never slept better.
Now, while you've been here in Hollywood, you haven't just been throwing parties. You've done tons of TV and film, most recently La La Land, American Horror Story, Feud, Fresh Off the Boat, Raising Hope, Anger Management, Two Broke Girls. I mean, the list goes on and on. We've seen you as a mustachioed man in millions of commercials, honey.
Right, the mustache. That when I moved to LA, everyone told me if you want to work in this town, you got to shave that thing off your face. Everyone kept telling me that, and I was like, I'm not gonna do that. And I started booking, and the next thing you know, everybody's wearing mustaches, and it's just another example of you just got to do things your own way, and you know, you follow your gut and your interests and your instincts, and you know, there will be like-minded people that have similar taste, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, I love acting. It was kind of I've always looked at the events in the clubs as like my day job that just happened to be at night, because for me, performing was always my big like passion.
Yeah.
But the beauty of the nightlife is that I get to perform, you know? When I'm at work, I'm on stage, and I get to cast the characters, and I get to create the set. And so it is essentially all the same. It's production, it's showbiz, and so it's all kind of, you know, parallels each other. But I do love acting. I'm still auditioning, just had an audition yesterday, and doing an occasional co-star or commercial. But I got to tell you, doing theater on stage with my girls, you know, my clowns, is really the sweet spot. That's my favorite thing to do.
Yeah, you've done so many great shows with Jackie B,
Right.
Sherry Vine, and something that you were doing back in New York too, right?
Yeah. Jackie and Sherry and I have been working together for over 25 years. Sherry had a theater company called Erickatoure.
Yes.
And I remember, you know, moving to New York and seeing these girls, and I was like, I got to be up there.
Yes.
So I quickly became their male go-to. So, you know, all the queens need to have that guy that they can do their shows with.
Yep.
That can keep up with the clowns and milk the mug as big as they are. So I'm a bit of a drag king, and I have been ever since the 90s. So yeah, I got a lot of wigs at home.
Now, speaking of like-minded people, let's not dash over your dip into electropop stardom
Yes.
with Dirty Sanchez, honey.
Yeah.
With you, Jackie Beat, and DJ Barbeau. How did that band start?
I think, well, Barbeau and I grew up together in Seattle, so we
okay.
have history. And he was really impressing me with his skills as an engineer, and I was like thinking, I've always had a passion for, you know, music, And Jackee B, she was the singer of the family, so you know I had to make sure that Tranma was sort of number one in this moment. But it actually started with Alexis Arquette and Jackee and Barbeau, and it was kind of a joke, really. I remember the first song that we did as a group was "Fucking on the Dance Floor," and we really just did it for fun. We just thought, let's make a silly song, and it just clicked, and the kids loved it. And I remember we went to some party, and all of the kids in the crowd were lip syncing every single word to our song, and then we knew we had something special. So next thing you know, you get a record label, and you have deadlines, and then the fun kind of, you lose the fun a little bit. It's a lot better when you're just doing it for the hell of it.
Right. You're like, okay, we need another really rich Italian Satanist. What are we gonna do? You guys did have a great catalog, and everyone should just dig in deep and find those, because those songs are fun.
Actually, we've got some stuff.
Oh,
Yeah.
a reunion.
Yeah, sort of. A little music video might be coming out in the near future.
A
So.
perfect time to reunite, Mario.
Right.
And I don't want to forget to mention there was a full-length documentary made on you, honey, Club King. What was that experience of diving back into your whole life and being followed by cameras?
It was great. I mean, I look at it now as like this amazing sort of scrapbook of my life, and to do it while I'm still kicking and throwing parties. Like I was hesitant when he approached me in the first place. I felt like, is this reality TV? What is this? Like, wasn't sure if I was worthy of it. You know, it felt a little weird. I was like, are you sure you don't want to do a documentary about, you know, Jackee or all these brilliant people that I'm surrounded by? But my friend John Bush was really fascinated by sort of the diversity of the work that I did and how much, I guess, I was accomplishing. And he was just interested to see what it would be like to follow me around. So I was like, sure, follow me around, but I don't want to have to worry about it. I got to do my thing. So at first it was kind of supposed to be a fly on the wall moment, but of course, you know, within a week I'm interacting and, you know, interviewing and.
Yeah, you do too many control issues, Mario.
I know.
You're in charge of everything. How can you suddenly be like, oh, that camera crew? I won't bother with them at all.
Well, you know, plus the idea of cameras at your club, it's
Right.
like I don't allow photos at my club. So, you know, the club footage is minimal. He really delved into different aspects of my life, which I thought was really cool. So I'm happy about it. It was great. And then we opened, like, you know, Outfest, and to be in a theater with.
I was there. It was an incredible night.
It was a wonderful moment.
Well, Mario, you've turned it out for so many years. You've given us all right here and the people at home so many good times that, sweetie, you snatched the trophy, honey! Yay! You made it, King!
I made it!
Oh, finally recognized for all his hard work.
All my hard work.
Thank you to Erica and Adam. And thanks, of course, to the Club King, Mario Diaz.
Thank you, Johnny. Love you, baby.
Thank you for inventing the cock and changing nightlife. We have enjoyed it thoroughly.
Least I could do.
And thanks to all of you. Now, Mario's going to stick around and play Look at Us. So you don't want to miss that, honey. And we'll see you next time on Hey Qween. Bye, baby. Hey, no cameras in the back room. Get out of here.
Hello, children. Click here and subscribe. You're welcome.